Do we need to do that over, Sam, or not?
No, I think you guys are all right.
Okay. It just said that it started recording, but.
Yeah.
Okay, you've all had a chance to look at the agenda. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda?
I'll move to approve the agenda as presented. This is Sean.
Sean moves to approve the agenda as presented. Is there a second?
Dale seconds.
Seconded by Dale. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. John?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Don?
Aye.
Troy votes aye. Motion carries. I will move on to the minutes of the April 3rd meeting, if you guys want to. Did anybody see any additions or corrections? Anybody see any additions or corrections to the minutes?
As Dale, I'd move to approve the minutes as presented, dispense with reading.
Been moved by Dale to approve the minutes as presented and dispense with the reading. Is there a second to the motion?
Just Mark, second it.
Seconded by Mark. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. John?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Troy votes aye. Motion carries. Okay. Did you get a chance to look at the bills?
I know that this morning we did have a few add-ons, so I'll have Maddie go through those with you.
The two add-ons, one is for Arrowwood, and it's for $711. And Tom Gilbertson's is for $25,624.67.
Oh, was that for culvert repair or something?
Maddie, do you know what that says on the invoice for what that was for?
That one is for that change order number 3 and that number 6. I think that Wayne was talking about this morning.
Oh, so back in October, on October 3rd meeting, you guys approved a changeover number 3 to Tom Gilbertson. And in the transaction of things, that one did not get paid. And we're just, seeing that now. So you guys did approve that at the 4th meeting. So that's in there. And then the change order 6, you say, Maddie, right? I'm not really sure what the change order 6 was. Paul, do you know what that is?
Yeah, those are both actual progressive estimates, not change orders.
Oh.
Progressive estimate number 3, I listened to part of the recording from the meeting after that would have been signed, or that it should have been signed at, and I didn't see that it was discussed even. I'd submitted it before the meeting, but it didn't get acted on. They acted on the change order, and I don't know if there's some confusion about whether it should have been a change order or the estimate. That we had both of those that should have been acted on at that meeting. So basically, Gilbertson didn't get paid for progressive estimate number 3, and then also progressive estimate number 6 that was approved at the last meeting is part of that payment.
Yeah, this is John. But shouldn't that come out of the project cost? Or what the engineers were instructed to put together the change orders in order to cover the excess money that wasn't used under
Sorry, I
the
was on
Senate
the
and the
phone.
House bill.
What was your question again?
What's that?
Hold on 1 second, Maddie. Go ahead, John. Sorry.
Okay, so the change orders are coming to the county as a bill, evidently, but they should have been included in the project costs of that Hannaford Road. The engineers were instructed to implement those change orders in order to use the excess money that was left in those funds. So I'm a little confused as to how now we're presented with a bill when these should have been a project cost.
Mr. Sean, that's true. We did that to maximize the use of the Senate and House bills, correct?
Yep, that's correct. And I guess I put together a summary of that, shared it with Wayne here today. I've been keeping track as we've been going along, and we had to spend at least as much as what was in there, but by my calculations, we should have been over about $900 in total.
So why? Why are we presented with a bill for 25,000?
Well, the bill is for the 11,000 that was approved at the last meeting, plus the 14,000 that was missed back in September. I guess I had sent it to the county before the meeting, but I didn't attend that meeting right after that on September 20th, 2019, where I just assumed that it had been paid by the county, and it wasn't. So that's why we're paying it now. But it is a project.
Where's this money coming out? Where's this money coming out of?
There should have been enough left in House Bill 1176 and Senate Bill 2103 funds, short about $900.
Okay, so then this request should come through the engineering, just the way the rest of the requests for money came through. It shouldn't come direct to the county. It should go through the project, be okayed by the engineers, and then be presented to the commission via that route, correct?
Yep, and I did email it to Wayne back in September with my signature on it. It still has my signature. I just forwarded it again here yesterday because one of the folks there figured out that it hadn't been paid previously.
We went back to the October 3rd meeting, and we do have the documents signed at that meeting. But it was after Maddie had already come and grabbed the bills, and so then I had gave it to Patty after, like on Monday after the meeting, and it didn't get an invoice to Maddie or anything like that. So that's where that was.
So it was previously approved but not paid.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, any other questions on the bills?
I'm still unclear on this. So the last time I looked at the Senate and House bill balances, they were down. There wasn't $25,000 left in those accounts.
No, there's 13,000, John. That bill is for two different things.
Well, there wasn't 13,000 when I looked at them. It was down within $700, I believe. I don't have that in front of me.
When I was talking with Wayne earlier, he thought that some had been moved from that account at the end of the year for some reason. I don't know where it went from there.
Yeah, me and Wayne talked about it this morning, that we treated it the same way as we did Wes's vehicle fund, where we transferred the balance at the end of the year into the next year for revenue and then expense and have it be out of that account. I'm trying to get into, hold on one second. It looks like at the end of the year there was still, at the end of the year in Senate Bill 2103, there was still $13,697.99 in that fund. So that would have then got transferred over into this year's budget as a revenue and then as an expense. So it's basically in and out.
And then how much was in the 1176 or the 1176 account?
1176, that was 100% paid out. So there wasn't any funds available in that one.
I wonder if the same thing happened at the end of 2018, because these funds are open then too.
This is John. Samantha, I don't remember. It doesn't mean it didn't happen, but was that transfer, did that come before the county commission for approval?
Yes.
Okay.
You guys, because you were under the impression that it was going to happen a different way. This is the same that as the road new building in Binford. It's the same thing as that. But you wanted the Senate bill and House bill monies to do that, the new building in Binford to do that, and the sheriff's vehicle to do that for this year's budget.
Yeah, the sheriff's vehicle and the building in Binford were projects that just weren't completed during the year they were okayed. So we had to have a way to pay for them when they were completed. So we didn't transfer the money to the budget necessarily. We should have transferred it to an escrow account and then paid for the vehicle and the building when they were completed. I don't specifically remember addressing the House bill money because that's a different issue altogether. That was supposed to have been paid out by the end of the year because the project was closed out, correct?
They hadn't signed the final estimate yet. We hadn't finished going through the final paperwork.
So do we have, is that going to balance? Is the money that we're paying out for that project, did we overspend that budget with the addition of this $13,000 bill?
It shouldn't have, I guess I've got a spreadsheet I can share or email out that says what the costs were. It was about $900 over what the state provided.
I think at the end of the year, there was $13,000 carried over, should have been carried over.
Right. So are there any other questions on the bills? Travis did call me yesterday. You'll see some. Is that stuff in here, Samantha? About that array?
Yes, that, sorry, I was having trouble unmuting myself.
Oh.
It's on page,
DNA mobility, page 8. The DNA mobility for $2,535. $1,600 of that is Travis called me yesterday and he said the hard drive array in the server room was starting to fail and it keeps tripping offline. So he had this in the budget and he ordered a new one. He said the hard drives are still under warranty, so that will get covered, but the array itself was not under warranty. And that's just the piece of hardware that holds the hard drives.
also those laptops that I discussed with you guys at the last meeting, that you guys wanted to talk to or discuss what account you wanted it out of, those are in here as well. There's one coming out of the county agent office supplies, and there's one coming out of the computer and hardware.
This is John. What was the account? Was the $13,000 and the $11,000 coming out of? The ones for Gilbertsons and Sons.
Okay, hold on one second. Let me get, Maddie's not able to hear us right now. She's having some technical difficulties, so just give me a minute and I'll give her a call.
I think it's going to come out of construction reserve. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, there was $13,000 left over at the end of the year of 2019 which there was no place to put it, I guess. I don't know where that money went, if it went into construction reserve or whatever, but we are going to do some more tracking to see if all the funds came back, which I believe they have from the DOT. There's got to be some way to track that when we get reimbursed or when we get paid. Like many different funds that come in and go out, there's no way to record the money coming back in, show on the budget.
This is Sean. I think we should just hold off on paying that one until we get a little clarity of where everything's at and what it's coming out of.
Well, I think we owe it.
We owe it. Yeah, we owe it. So they did the work. They did the patching of the streets in Hannaford and the riprap on the road and everything. So somehow it got misplaced. I finally got online here. So
Is part of that bill the retainage that we paid on the last meeting to close out the project?
No, that's what should have been paid last September.
Oh, the entire amount could have been paid in September. The entire.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There's 14,000 from September and 11,000 from last month.
Oh, okay.
That's the total of 25.
But the gals just need to find out where they transferred that money to that was in the Senate bill, and then that 11,000 is just going to have to come out of the road budget, right, Wayne?
right.
And there should have been that much left in the Senate bill and House bill funds too. I don't know where that went, if there was a credit that got put somewhere else or what happened, but they sent me or Patty had sent Wayne and me the summary of what had been paid out in 2019, and that should have been on it. But she didn't send the revenue side, so I don't know what should have been there either. So we'll have to dig in a little bit more, but like you guys said, that those are definitely owed to Gilbertson.
I'd move we pay the bills as presented with the addition of Arrowwood for 711 and Tom Gilbertson and Sons for 2567.
But moved by Dale to pay the bills with the addition of the two that weren't in the packet. Is there a second?
I'll second, John.
Seconded by John. Is there any discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. John?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Troy votes aye. Motion carries. Wayne, you're next.
All right. We're going to talk a little about County Road 8. Sent pictures. There'll be some more pictures online. Water has come up a little higher in that one spot, and kind of threatening when the ice thaws, it'll be coming over to the east there for a distance. Paul has been working on some measurements and things as far as the height of the water, how high we have to build the road up. If we can do it two ways, you can put it up with emergency, call it an emergency, and that'll be reimbursed 100%. And then the permanent work would be 80-20%. I think he's going to send in his estimates to Brian Fuchs at North Dakota DOT, Kent LeBon. And we'll go from there. The restrictions are a little less when you do a emergency grade raise. So, but the packet is about half an inch thick of regulations. So, we'll make sure we get it done right. But he's going to put it in, I think, for both sections. Is that right, Paul?
Yeah. So the emergency, I think they'd probably only be able to be done on the site that has water over the road right now. So that'd be 100% reimbursable if a disaster is declared, and you actually have to wait until the disaster is declared before you know for sure that you're going to get reimbursed for those funds. And the permanent work, if you do emergency raise that's paid at 100%, you have to do the permanent work within 2 years of the disaster. So what usually happens, and what's been going on in other counties across the state that had disasters last year that did emergency raises, is that they're doing the environmental, they did the environmental stuff after that construction season was done and are bidding out the permanent work now. And that's how I'd see this going. The two different sites look like they're about 0.7 of a foot different in height. So if the water keeps coming up, then that second site to the east, you know, the western site is right at the Foster County line. Then the next one to the east there, if that goes underwater, then that emergency raise to go up 2 feet there would also be 100% paid. Barnes County is in this, that's all in the James Cheyenne River Basin that's identified in the DOT ER manual. And Cary down in Barnes County also have sites enough to trigger a disaster declaration in that basin within his county alone. So this, it would be enough just in Griggs County, but he's got enough there too. So I'm pretty sure that they're going to declare it once the estimates are submitted.
Yep, this morning the water was about 5 inches deep along the white line on each side and about 1.5 inches in the center. About 150 feet long. I think once the ice thaws, the water will be splashing way over the highway. So.
And we've looked at the outlet elevation a little bit, just using the IWI LiDAR. It looks like that outlet elevation is about 2 feet above the eastern site. Then you can raise 2 feet above that further if you need more for wave rundown. So the project could be, you know, a half mile total between the two sites. Then I don't know 100% if the Foster County section of that also would be inundated at the outlet elevation, but I don't know if that would have to be a separate disaster for them, or if you guys want to partner with them at all on having a project together with it. But that would take some coordination on who would pay the local match and how much, what percentage and all that too.
Well, I guess we would like your blessing on putting the estimate into Bismarck and see so we get on the disaster in case there is one.
Wayne, this is Mark here. On County Road 15, where it gets close to the Jesse Road, I'll call it, the highway. Boy, that road just barely out of the water also.
Okay. Yeah, I think there is to be a dollar limit, I think, or to qualify. We can probably just raise that up ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's not a federal aid road. That's the South 15 is just a regular county road because we have gotten disaster stuff from FEMA, like around Lake 5.
Mm-hmm.
We did. That doesn't qualify for ER. And the guidelines are so strict on the regular emergency. Oops, I lost you. So I don't think I would qualify. If we need a motion to maybe go ahead and just have them send it in.
Is there a, this is John, is there a cost associated with sending this in?
I guess I'll bring a small miscellaneous services agreement to the next meeting for your guys' review, for what it would take us to put that together.
I think once the permanent work comes, is that true? Then we have to advertise for engineering firms.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the permanent design and for the permanent construction engineering, you have to do an RFP for both of those. And I don't believe they can be done together.
No, what is John again? So my question is, you're asking for permission to submit an emergency application to the state. Is there a cost associated with that? Because we need to know what's that going to cost to do that, if there is a cost to it, and what is the benefit of doing it now compared to 2 weeks from now when we have a cost to look at.
I think just to get it in there, it's only an estimate anyway, and I don't know what Paul would charge to do that, to put that information together. He's already been working for a few days on different things, but as far as the state, there's no cost.
Right.
Okay, maybe I'm not explaining this right. When you're asking for our permission to do something, I think it's our duty to find out what is it going to cost the taxpayer in order, if we grant you permission to send this into the state. Is there a cost associated with that? And if there is, I think we have to know that before we decide whether or not to send in the application.
John, there's no cost other than postage to send it into the state, and we asked them to put together the estimate at the last meeting, so that money that's already we're water over the dam on that one.
Oh, that was a different pot of money there. The last meeting was the stimulus funds. This is ER. So basically we're submitting the same information, or we'd like to submit the same information. I'm probably going to refine the estimate some, and that's what I'd be bringing the agreement for you for, is to scope that out and see how much in detail. I guess I've been emailing back and forth with the Foster County Water Board to see exactly where that outlet is and whether there's a culvert in the grade that it would go through. That's why I don't have that nailed down as far as what the estimate of construction would be. But it is just an estimate. Once they actually get survey quantities and stuff like that, then that changes, and we're not bound to anything yet.
But you're asking for what ALJ would charge? John?
Correct.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'll have an estimate for that. I would guess somewhere around 2,000, give or take, for the amount of time it'll take to get it put together and get the maps put together and all that.
Okay, I think that was your question, right, John?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why it took us 5 minutes to get there, but that was my question.
Right. So,
well, and the potential for future costs for the county then would be, if you do the 100% paid emergency raise, you do have to follow up with the permanent grade raise within 2 years, and that's, like Wayne had mentioned, that's paid at the 18.0 or 8.97, 19.0, 80.93, 19.07 local share. So that if it's $1 million project, that's 190,000 that the county would have for the local match. Just using round numbers.
Right. But by putting in the estimate, we're not obligated. By putting in the request for the emergency application, we're not obligated to anything at that point, correct?
Right. Yeah, there's no obligation at that point. It's just so they can decide whether there's enough damage in the basin to declare a disaster.
So the question is then, if you start from the other end of it, does the county have $190,000 to finish this project once we start it? That's the question.
Right. I think that, well, the prairie dog funds aren't coming in as fast as they were a while ago. But the emergency project would be 100% paid. And if there is a permanent project later on, you know, it would be after those funds are available, more than likely. But that is a bit of a maybe.
Oh, I don't think it's much of a maybe. I think it's a probably not. But the road needs to be fixed at some point. We just need to figure out how to pay for it. And how much money can we put together to pay for it will determine what the fix is.
Right.
Right. This is about the biggest or the best cost share you're going to have, especially with having the emergency work 100% paid. And that would give you time. It would not be this year that you'd have to pay the match for the permanent raise, because that wouldn't be designed or bid yet until the following year.
But
So
there
that gives
is
a little time to figure that out.
road construction reserve. What is that? That's says here it's 845,000. So that could probably be used. Well, I know if the whole road goes underwater, there's going to be a lot of unhappy people, but used a lot.
There's no doubt about that, and but what we're talking about here is if the road goes on, we're not going to get it fixed before the road goes underwater, more than likely.
Right.
Correct. I mean, if it's coming up that fast, if you said when the ice melts, it's going to go underwater. Well, that's within a week then.
Yep, could be.
Yeah. So we're talking about spending $2,000 to try to give us some possibilities of what we could do. I would make the motion we authorize putting in the emergency application and moving forward.
Been moved by John, then we move ahead with the emergency application on the road west of Binford. Is there a second to the motion?
Sean, I second.
Seconded by Sean. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. John?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Troy votes aye. Motion carries. I see go ahead.
This is Mark. I just have a question. Would we have any advantage of draining the water away? Is there any possible way, or is that the lowest point in the bowl?
Looks like the outlet to the northwest is about 2 feet higher than the higher of the two sites, so almost 3 feet higher than the existing where it's going over now.
And how far?
And that's with the assumption that there's a culvert in that railroad grade to northwest. It would be about at least 2 feet higher than that if there isn't.
Buddy?
That water goes north?
It goes out to the northwest, and then, or it would eventually. It would have to get 2 feet higher. Right, it's 1509.7. The road, or almost 1510. The road is at 1507 at the west side. So it'd have to go. It'd be 3 feet over the road before it was all.
Oh, I thought that went south.
I would have guessed that too, but after looking at the contours, it's pretty clear where it goes. And then once it gets over that rise, and through the railroad grade, it goes through the Foster County Road and out, and it just keeps going down from there. So I asked the Foster County folks if they have a culvert size there and whether they did a hydraulic analysis on that to see, because that would tell us whether there's a culvert north of it or not. Well, we've done quite a bit of the legwork already, just waiting for answers back.
Okay.
And right now, the water is running to the south over the top of the road and through the culvert. For some reason, it's less water lower on the other side.
I mean, I was under the assumption that the water goes to the south and then to the west and eventually runs just the south side of McHenry there, and then turns and goes south into the creek.
And we were, Paul gave me a map from the Water Commission. Yeah, it has all the elevations and stuff, and we tried to find the easiest way, but it looks like it's higher once you get around to the southwest, and it doesn't come out of there. But
Huh.
I don't know. I've flown over that for years, and so you're saying it's got to get 2 foot higher than it does now? Is now to drain out of there? That's not right. Of course, that road would have been then 2 foot underwater a lot of the times of its life. I mean, there's got to be another way that water gets out. I think it goes south across the road there, and then goes straight west and goes underneath just a mile south of McHenry, and then out through the pasture there, and then out. That's the way it looks from the air.
This is Mark again. Is there a chance we could have our water board look into this and report back to us? Is this something their expertise would be?
I don't know.
I doubt that.
No, they'd have to hire an engineer to go do that.
Yeah, it needs to be built up. I mean, regardless of where the outlet, which way it goes, evidently it's not going there. So the only option is to build the road up.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what the state highway department did by McHenry. You know, they raised it up. The
That's
water,
correct.
you know, tried to get a drain so they could just drain it out of there, but wouldn't participate, the DOT, so they raised the road up instead. So it's
Yeah,
just,
I'm looking at the contours now, the 10-footers on the IWI site, and it doesn't look like it goes. I mean, it goes south until it reaches elevation. Oh,
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, we're not going to change the outlet of it. So we just have to raise the grade.
yeah, it's quite a bit higher to the south.
Okay.
okay. I'm still working on the disaster, the North Dakota Emergency Services, and getting closer to the end of the paperwork to get sent in, but a lot of labor intensive, maybe not labor, but paperwork that's got to be done. So, that culvert that's washed out on County Road 22, we're gonna fix that on Monday. Looks like it just ran alongside and then over the top now, so I think we can just fill it back in and it'll be good to go. I guess that's all I have.
So we have this miscellaneous professional services agreement for the inspection of the bridge north of Cooperstown here for
Yep.
$1,500. Do you guys want to give that the go ahead?
No, that was discussed at the last meeting. I just didn't have the agreement in front of you. They had made a motion to approve hiring KLJ for the $1,500 at the last meeting.
Oh, we already did that?
Yep, we just didn't have you didn't have the agreement in front of you, so that would make sense to review it and then sign. But yeah, the motion's already been made and approved.
Okay. So is that one of the things you sent to me to sign?
Yeah. I didn't send it to,
Okay.
I sent it on Monday though, so. For
Right.
the
But
6th.
it's already done, right?
Right, the motion's been made and approved and voted on at the last meeting.
Right, and then I signed it and sent it back to you already?
No, I didn't get a signed copy back yet.
So you're gonna send it to me?
I can send it again there. Yep. Let's see.
You sent it to me on the 10th?
On the 6th.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
Apparently I didn't look at it.
Oh, that's fine. not in a hurry on that one yet, so they're not due till July.
Okay, I'll take care of that. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks.
Okay, and nothing else for Wayne? Does anybody have any questions for Wayne? Nothing else for Wayne? Thank you, Wayne. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Troy. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good weekend.
Yep, you too.
Can I
Okay,
you guys add future commissioner meetings to the agenda really quick?
we can talk about it I don't know if we can do that now. Future business?
I don't understand. What are we talking about?
Well, we're having some issues and with this note or like this meeting wise that we're trying to do right now. I've been trying to get the public to be able to attend and it's not working like we thought. We're having some issues. So if we could talk about trying to get something different.
If I remember right from the minutes, we had asked Travis to look into that.
And what we came up with is that we're able to give the public a live stream link. And it was supposed to be where like all of us were in the meeting, and having our microphones and stuff like that. And then everybody else was just on live stream. And but unfortunately it doesn't work unless you're in the system or something like that. So I did have a citizen trying to get in. Thankfully, they were emailing me saying that they weren't able to. They got in touch with Travis and it wasn't working like we were hoping. So we should probably look into something else. Or just giving the public the number to dial in, I guess, would be what we could do, like the last meeting.
Yeah, I don't see an issue with doing that either.
Okay.
I guess I attended a meeting last night in Zoom, and that seemed to work fine. But all the participants, the audience didn't have they were all muted by the moderator, or the organizer of the meeting controlled the mute button. The only thing I don't like about having a bunch of people dialed into this meeting is they control their own mute button. And this isn't really a public forum for debate. It's a public meeting for people to attend, but not participate necessarily unless they're on the agenda.
Right.
John speaking. So why don't we leave it with Travis to fix the problem that we're having right now? And probably it would be advisable to run a test run before the meeting.
We did test it. I tested it with Maddie, and she said it was working fine. But it was because she was within the county system. And that's why it's working fine. But when we had, somebody outside of the courthouse system trying it, it wasn't coming in. He said that it's limiting limitations of Google Meets. So he says that the option is to keep doing what we are doing with the public dialing in, or looking at options for a webinar service. He got the price for Zoom, but they've been having a bunch of issues with security, so he would need to look at another company.
So I missed the governor's, this is Mark, I missed the governor's speech last night or whatever, when he was talking about when he's going to open up the state. Has anybody heard anything when that's going to happen, or what's the deal here?
He's keeping everything closed until the end of the month, and then seeing how the numbers are going to look. So that's a thing too that I'm kind of worried about. I don't want to go and spend a bunch of money on a web service, if we're only going to have a few more meetings online.
Has
Or
anybody
maybe one.
Microsoft Team?
Say that one more time.
Microsoft Team. Has that anybody looked into that one?
No.
Let's do one more meeting with just a teleconference and let the public come on to the telephone, and we'll just ask them to stay muted.
Okay. Sounds good.
I mean, this nonsense can't go on forever anyway.
Right.
I mean, the more I read and the more I watch the statistics on this thing, this is no different than any other flu and cold season. So I think they should knock it off. Get back at it. Anyway, that's my feeling. So,
Okay, so
What do you
we'll just keep doing this and I'll just do it the way I did it last time and we won't try the live stream anymore.
well, and I can't believe that's not just a setting issue that Travis could fix, but whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me that you have to be a member of the local area network before you can log into a conference call, for crying out loud.
That's why I was thinking it was gonna work.
It's the whole idea of having a service like that.
Mhm.
But anyway, NDSU extension. I guess they can have a part-time person do our stuff.
It's either a miracle or a coincidence. I'm not sure, but so,
no, Troy, it was a foregone conclusion.
Not miraculous?
last meeting I talked to Rita and told her our wishes for a full-time agent with the request for some previous experience and strong 4-H background, and then this actually talked to her 2 days ago. There's a retired extension agent living at Stump Lake now that was, I believe, from Cavalier County. So they even got somebody in mind. How about that? So then I was going to tell her yes, but then I realized there was money involved in it. So I bring it before you guys to see it. We're going to split it 50-50, as you can see in the email. So I guess just get everybody's blessing, and I'll go ahead and tell her to go ahead with that if we wish.
I would make the motion that we instruct Sean to tell NDSU to go ahead with an agent, part-time agent for the fair, and we'll split it 50-50. And I'm glad NDSU reinforced my opinion that bureaucracies are predictable.
Is there a second to that motion?
This is Dale, I'll second that.
Been moved by John, seconded by Dale, that we instruct Sean to tell NDSU that we'll move ahead with a MOU for our temporary 4-H position for 2020. Is there any discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. John?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Troy votes aye. Motion carries.
I'd like to thank Sean too for the work he's doing on this. As Mark.
Sales ratio study, Samantha? You found any neighbors that want to work for you?
No. Do you want me to go to another county and ask them?
Well, it sounds like the state thinks that's the first order of business.
Okay.
If somebody's got,
Is it possible our weed officer could do it?
she's overpaid.
Hey, I've been doing a lot of work for your guys' weed. Yeah, I will contact, we did have Ben Gates help with all the other stuff in the beginning, the end of last year. So I can go and ask him if he'd be willing to help.
Sure.
My fear is if I go to any other counties, I don't know their tax director. So then it would be, you know, do they know what they're doing? You know, and I do know that Ben is very good. I've worked with Ben in the past on other things, so I know that he's very good. So I would start there if that's okay with you guys. And if he says no, what do you want me to do after that?
Big.
What?
Do we have an ad in the paper right now?
No, we don't. I ran it for 2 weeks, and then we did it for another I think it was 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then we ran it for another 2 or 3 weeks and didn't get anything. So I haven't put it back in the paper.
I believe we should probably run that again, just because there might be some people that are of a different position now. Maybe there are some people that are looking for a job.
Okay.
Is that a motion?
That is a motion, John.
How many weeks? 3?
Yeah, that should be fine to start with.
Surrounding counties?
As we did it before, I believe.
Well, what I did before is I did it in Griggs County, the Griggs County Courier, and then the Steele County Press.
Sure. I would think that'd be sufficient. I don't think we're going to get someone moving here to take a part-time job.
Right. Is there a second to the motion?
Just Mark.
Second.
Seconded by Mark. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. John?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Don?
Aye.
Troy votes aye. Motion carries. Okay. Abatements. See, there's some parcels in here for abatements and lowering. But the first two, those Adrian ones, they're signed off by the county, and the Walter Hoyt one is also, if you look far enough down here, you get to the page, it's page 26 in your packet. Looks like Larry Ressler signed it for Addy Township. No, no, I'm wrong. That's Lauren Allison's, I'm sorry.
That's correct.
Walters it wasn't approved by the township, was it? No.
That's correct.
Walters,
The others were approved by a township officer.
right. But that one for Walter Hoyt was not approved by the local entity. So I would propose that we approve all of them except for that Walter Hoyt one and ask him to take it to the township first.
Yeah, this is John. In following past precedent, that's what we've done. We have approved any abatements that have become before us if they have been signed off by either the city or the township that's controlling that portion of property. So I would make the motion that we approve the abatements as presented, pending authorization to do so by our state's attorney. I'd like to have him look at them and see if everything is done correctly, and that would determine whether or not it requires a signature from the county official, from the township official, which I believe it does, but I don't have exact knowledge of that.
I got a question on one, the Adrian one. Diane Adrian signed it as the city auditor or township clerk as well as the property owner.
That's correct. I believe that's just a condition of having a very small pool to pick from.
Yeah, well, it looks a little controversial, but I guess
Well,
if that's what it is, I guess.
yeah, if you look at that the other way, if you're excluded from the abatement because you are the township official, you'd have a tough time getting a township official.
Very true.
So the motion, I would that we approve all except the Walter Hoyt and have Jamie review all of them, and if he deems necessary, have Walter Hoyt contact the township in order to get signed off on his abatement.
This is Sean. I'll second that motion.
Moved by John, seconded by Sean to approve the abatements conditionally with the approval of the state's attorney. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any further discussion?
I think with the exclusion of Walter Hoyt until it's signed off on by a township official.
I thought you were going to let Jamie make that call.
I guess we can. Maybe as long as yeah, that would work too.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. John?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Troy votes aye, motion carries. I think with that township clerk, I don't think votes, Sean. I think it's just the supervisors. So she's really not, I don't think the clerk is a voting member. I'm not 100% sure of that, but it's kind
they're
of.
not.
Okay, yeah. So it's really not really that big of a conflict.
Okay. It just seemed kind of weird.
She's recording their vote.
Right.
2020 primary ballot measurer? Was that a tape measurer?
Did it get auto-corrected?
Well, measurer is a word. Shouldn't be used in that topic.
When we were talking about ballot measures and stuff, I was just thinking about new ones that need to be put on the ballot. I didn't think about the routine ones, the ones that go on every 5 years or every, whatever. So this year, the road, 5 mil road mill levy limit is going on the ballot as well. I just wanted you all to be aware so that, when you go to vote or whatever, the 5 mil road levy will be on the ballot.
Sam, this is Mark.
Yes.
Is it 5 or is it 10 mils?
It's 5, and then it's, I think in another, I think next year we vote on another 5. So the way we had it 5 years ago, it was the wording, oh, shoot. The wording will be, it's not gonna let me in, is it? Let me get it up here for you. Kicked me out of my computer at the work, so just give me one moment. It will say, shall the Griggs County Board of Commissioners be authorized to continue a 5 mil road levy for up to 5 years? And then in parentheses, 20% of the 5 mil levy collected in the cities will go to the cities. Parentheses, for repairs, maintenance, graveling, and improvement of highways and streets in the county is the exact wording that will be on the ballot.
So wasn't the last ballot measure up to 30 mils?
No, the road department gets is 20 mils and then up to 30 mils with majority vote. And so then it comes where it's 5 mils right now, and then another 5 mil road question will be next or in 2 more years. So then
no, but I think with the 30 mil, up to 30 mils, I think we covered all of it. I think that took in that because that maxes it out. I think we covered all these small ones by the vote allowing it up to 30 mils. I think that was the purpose of that vote.
I don't know about that. You better have somebody check on that before you make that assumption, because I thought we had 2 5 mil votes.
Yeah, we had 2
And
5
then-
mil votes. When I go back as far with all the ballot questions.
That's correct. We did, because it was 20 mils, and then we'd added the 5 mil votes. Then in 14, when they changed 14 or 15, when they changed the century code and the tax levy limits, when we voted up to 30 mils, that included the 20 and the 2 5s, I believe. I think it incorporated them all into one, because we're maxed out at 30 mils.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think this 5 mil vote is redundant at the least. Yeah.
And doesn't that bill, or didn't that the vote say up to 30 mils?
It does, and so does the 5 mil.
I mean, who remembers what it says? I don't remember that.
Well, when I went back to that wording, this is exact, like I took it, copy and pasted it.
What wording? I don't see the wording.
I just read it to you, sorry. It says, shall the Griggs County Board of County Commissioners be authorized to continue a 5 mil road levy for up to 5 years? Parentheses, 20% of 5 mil levy collected in the cities will go to the cities, parentheses, for repairs, maintenance, graveling, and improvement of highways and streets in the county.
And that was in 2015?
Yes. 14.
No.
Sorry.
The 5-year deal.
Yeah.
Had to be 15.
Yeah, it must have been 15. I can't get into my computer at work, so it's not letting me in.
Well, there wasn't elections in 15.
That's why I was thinking it's not 15.
Based on that language, I think it needs to go in there, but can we change the language so that it's up to 30 instead?
We've already voted on that after the 5 mils. The 30 mil vote's already been taken place after that.
When? Somebody needs to prove that to me because I don't remember it.
Well, Troy, that's so every time we put a budget out, we bump it right up against the 30 mil maximum that we're authorized to do.
It's because of it's up to 20 mils. You can go up to 20 mils, and then we have two 5 mil measures. So it's every, I don't know.
I mean, we're just speculating here. I think we table this until next meeting.
I've already pushed the ballots to the printers. There is room that we can fix it at this point or whatever, but I need to order my ballots Monday. Because then ballots or absentee ballots get pushed out in 2 weeks. The Thursday right before your next meeting, absentee ballots become available. It let me in, so just give me one moment and I'll get into the Voices website really quick. So in road levy, in 16, you guys voted on, shall the Griggs County Board of Commissioners be authorized to levy an additional 5 mil road levy to maintain the county road system? That was in 16. You voted on that. And then it was in 14 that in 14 we had a 5 mil road levy, and it looks like in 14 there was two of the exact same measures that said the 5 mil road levy. I'm not sure why that would be. I mean, it's like identical, but it's county measure 1 and then county measure 2. So I think in 2014, you guys voted on 5 mils, and then in 16 was an additional 5 mils. So I don't see that we voted on up to 30 mils.
Well, if that's the case, then there's only 15 mills available, and we know that isn't correct. That isn't correct.
No, it's 5 mils. Okay, so it's up to 20 mils, and then it's an additional 5 mils, which gets you to 25 mils, and then you had another vote for an additional 5 mils that got you to 30.
Right, but so right now with this one, we'll only be at 25.
Correct.
Yep.
No, right now, as of right now, you're at 25. When it goes through, it'll be then to 30.
When was the last time we voted on the 2 5 mils? In 14, wasn't it?
16.
In 16, okay. And this one was voted on, I thought we voted twice in 14.
It's the exact same measure, so I think it just got put into my election system. I don't think it got put on the ballot that way. It's just in 14, it's you're voting on 5 mills, and then in 16, we voted on additional 5 mills.
16, you mean?
Yeah, 14 you voted on 5 mills, and then in 16 you voted on 5 mills, which would have got you to 30.
This is renewing the so every 2 years. Yeah.
If you guys would like me to change the wording on that, I can, and say up, do the 30 mills instead of these 5, instead of doing 2 5 mill votes.
Well, it's not obligating the county commission to spend 30 mills, because the 20 mills that's allowed under the century code is up to 20 mills. It's not mandatory 20 mills, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So what we're doing, if both the 5 mill levies are in place, it's making it mandatory that we spend 10 mills on the township and county roads, the way it's worded.
Well, I don't think that includes the township roads. I think just the county and.
This would just be for the counties, but 20% of the 5 mill levy collected in the cities will go to the cities.
Yep.
And I disperse that every month after when we close books for the month. I disperse that out.
This is Mark again. Would there be any advantage to us changing to 10 mills and doing that every 5 years? Rather than these little 5?
Why is it 5 years when we end up in the off election year?
I don't know. That's why it's, if you guys did do it for the, the 10 mills or whatever, it would make it a lot easier to be tracking this stuff, because it gets, it gets to be that off year, and then
Well, I mean, I know why it's 5 mills is because they changed the limit, and we gave the citizens the opportunity to then let us go to the 30 mil limit.
Okay.
It was 25, I believe.
Yeah, I get the mills, not the years. Why are they doing it for 5 or 4 or whatever? So you end up in an election year every year. You're going to be off time. Because if we vote in 20, then it's going to lapse in 25, which there is no election year that year. So,
right. And this gets voted on in June, so it's before budgeting even, or is just beginning. So
So if I understand you right, Sean, you'd like to change it to 4 years?
Well, that would, I mean, I guess if it lapses, you know, otherwise you're gonna have a lapse year, right?
That would make a lot of sense.
Except it would contradict what the century code says that the votes are every 5 years.
Oh, it does.
Right.
Yeah.
That-
Right,
that-
Samantha?
I'm not sure on century code on that one.
Yeah, some and the century code says 10 years on some of them too, which doesn't coincide with the election cycle either. So I don't know.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. So I think we should just put it on the ballot and be done with it.
Okay. Is that a motion, John?
She's already done it. She's just reporting this, guys.
Okay. That's good.
It's a requirement anyways.
That's correct. That's correct. Okay. Did I get muted?
Nope, you're in.
Oh. Did everybody else get muted?
No, we're here.
Oh. Was this a telephonic version of staring at each other?
I'm staring you guys down, can't you tell?
Yeah.
Is that vodka, Sam?
No, it's coffee.
Wouldn't that be nice if that ended up being the cure for coronavirus is coffee?
It is.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
haven't got it yet.
Anything else that measures, Sam?
Nope, that should be all.
Where'd Troy go?
I'm here.
Oh, well,
Old courthouse, new courthouse.
I don't have anything for old courthouse, new courthouse.
This is Mark. The only thing I'll have in next meeting, I'll have an update on the chandelier.
I haven't heard anything from NDSU. And I suspect that I won't now with everything that's going on, so.
You can tell them there's no problem with social distancing where they're working.
There's lots of space in there.
Any other old courthouse, new courthouse? Future business.
no, I don't have any future business.
Motion to adjourn.
Been moved by Dale to adjourn. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second, Mark.
Seconded by Mark. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. John?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Troy votes aye. Motion carried. Meeting is adjourned at 4:02 p.m. Next regular meeting will be Friday, May 8th and May 22nd. The preceding meeting, our following meeting after that at 2:30 p.m. Hopefully in the courthouse.
Yeah, well, that'd be nice.